3 simple steps. Number 1 is emotion. Emotion is what's going to decide a big part of your what your character wants to say and do. So if you get the emotion correct, odds are the lip sync will work fine. So, and you can even go back and look at old Disney movies where the lip sync is totally off, but you never noticed it because the animator hit the emotion just right. So the biggest thing to remember is emotions. And this is kind of why I don't like using default shapes, because your character could change emotions throughout their shot, and there's a big difference between saying like somebody that's sad and goes, "I love you," to somebody that's happy and says, "I love you." You can tell it's a completely different, like the mouth shapes are close, but it's completely different if you're looking at my mouth. So it's super important to just make sure you know what your character's emotions are and try and stay as true to those as possible. But I always find that doing this quick little video reference will tell you that you don't really do that much, when you're doing these shapes, but it seems like a lot. And if you were to say, demo, you'd get all these shapes, but when we talk, we put a lot of words together on top of each other, and that's how we talk so quickly. So I find that video and being able to frame by frame will really tell you, wow, I actually only opened my mouth once. When if I was to do this in front of a mirror, I might say, kind of looks like I'm opening it twice, maybe 3 times. Okay, and then you start putting all these keys in there, and it starts getting really messy and really chatty, and it feels like the mouth is going 1,000 miles per hour, and the character isn't saying anything. The thing you kind of want to remember when you're doing lip sync is just like everything else when you animate, is you have to play up to the camera. So make sure that it's reading from right here. This camera view has to be reading. It could be reading perfectly right in here, at this angle, but if it doesn't look right over here, it's just never going to work. So make sure you play up to the camera angle, not your perspective in 3D. One quick thing with lip sync is usually our mouths go into the shape that we want before the audio comes out. So it's like if I want to make a U sound, I have to put my mouth in this, and then I have to get my air through my lungs to go up here and then go out, and then as the air goes out, my lips are already ready for that air, and then you hear the U sound, like U. So it's another thing to remember is that you don't want to lay your poses, your key poses, right on these markers, right where that sound is coming out. Where you hear the U, that's not where you want to place the U shape. You want to place it a few frames before, because your mouth has to get into these positions before the audio can be heard and the air goes out through it. So keep that in mind when you're animating, because it will help you a lot. It's just like I always say with key poses, don't worry if these are taking you too long to do, because these are the important poses. You have to get these correctly. So don't worry if you think, oh, I'm spending so much time, it's taking forever, because it's better just to spend the time now than having to go in there and tweak mouth shapes because you didn't do it right the first time. And then this is the power of the graph editor, which I love. Instead of, wow, I want this E shape, to hold for a little bit longer down here. Instead of setting a key, and having it hold down here, I'll just go in here and let's check out what's going on in our graph editor. Clean that up real quick. It's probably something wonky. But here it is. Here's my curve down here, and that's what's making it stay. So instead of just setting all those keys, I think I'm just going to go ahead and open this. So now the mouth, and mess around with this because you can see it directly happening. Now my mouth is going to stay open a little bit more right there. Let's see. I want this to go straight down, so I'm going to change this curve, have it come straight down. And then here it's going to hold. And remember how we said we wanted it to pop? Move into that O a bit more. Let's have that happen. Then let's also get this top one to pop as well. Here it is. See, and now it's popping, and I'm actually going to break it. Get it to pop up even more. There we go. It'll pop up even more. And you can make this as extreme as you want. See how much more it's opening? But that might be breaking it a bit too much. So now we haven't even set any new keys. Everything is still the same. I can still slide keys around just as easily. And I've just made a few tweaks.